Hi guys, it's Alan Starker here, your iMovie tutor. I'd like to talk to you about saving and uploading your videos to YouTube. All versions of iMovie since '09 have had this share option in the menu, and this is iMovie 11, and you can see that there is a number of share options here. I think in the iMovie 09 there was an option for YouTube, but in the latest version you can see we've got the Mobile Me gallery for Mobile Me account users. We've got YouTube, Facebook, Vimeo, CNN iReport, and Podcast Producer. So I'm going to take a look at YouTube based on the video that's just been created. Now this is the iMovie movie trailer, kind of new feature in the latest incarnation of iMovie that I've already made. And so let's say we want to go and upload this to YouTube. What kind of settings do we need to use? So there's an easy way of doing it and a slightly more difficult way of doing it. It's a kind of a manual way of doing it. So we've got our movie ready made here, everything's working. If we click share and then YouTube, you can change your account to whichever account or whichever channel. What I want to do here is add iMovie tutor, and of course I'd have to add a password. I'm going to leave that for now. Education, you can put in the description information in here. Now I've already uploaded this, so I'm not going to go ahead and do it again. Give the a title to the video. Don't forget tags, quite important. And the most important part of this is this section down here. What size do you want the video to be? Now the old versions of YouTube, the HD option was based on the file size. The later version of YouTube, the HD option is based on the physical size of the movie. So in order to get HD movies you need to have 720 or 1080 sized videos. So if I were to go ahead and click HD 720p, fill in all this information and click next, it will start to upload the movie to YouTube. Now you might be wondering, what size is this movie? Well, if I just hover over this information little logo here, you can see that this is a H.264 movie file at 30 frames per second, 10 megabits per second streaming speed, and the file size itself will be about 67.6 megabytes, which is pretty good for a high resolution movie. I've also got the option to do 1080p, but there wouldn't really be much point because the actual footage that I shot on my video camera was only 720p. So, you know, we just use the 720p option. What I found with this system in using iMovie 09 is that sometimes it will successfully upload to YouTube, other times you get a failed upload. I also noticed that using this information bar here on the earlier version, the 09 version of iMovie, sometimes the file sizes were very, very large, and I often wonder if it was just too much of a file size and YouTube was rejecting it. So I've not tried out using this option yet, but let's say you want to manually share. So what we do, we go to share, export movie, export using Quicktime, and these are the settings I use. So this way of doing it, you'll be saving the project on your computer locally, and then you will upload it in the usual way to YouTube. So you can choose where you want to save your movie, and the most important thing is click options. You want to save as a QuickTime movie, okay, and click options. Go to make sure that the video and the sound boxes are ticked. That's if it's a movie with sound. Click on settings, So we want compression type H.264. The frame rate you can leave on current frames per second. So if it's 30 frames per second, obviously it will set itself to compress at 30 frames per second. Keyframes, I'd leave that on automatic. If it's a 30 frames per second movie, you could type in every 30 frames in there if you want to, but I'd leave that on automatic. Very important, uncheck frame reordering. On the compressor settings, you can't move this at the moment because I earlier restricted the data rate to 7,000, and to get a decent quality movie on YouTube, this needs to be somewhere between 5 and 8,000 kilobits per second, and this is optimized for streaming. Going back to the compressor, make sure that the encoding is set to multi-pass. Okay, so current frame rates, keyframes automatic, encoding multi-pass, data rate restrict to somewhere between 5 and 8,000, optimized for streaming, and then click OK. Filter, you can ignore that. That's for kind of post special effects. I don't know anybody's ever used that, to be honest with you. Size, this is set to HD 720, and preserve aspect ratio using crop if required. You could uncheck that, but I just tend to leave that checked. And sound, click on settings. You will find that the original settings may come through as linear PCM. Okay, so set that to AAC, and you can set the rate to about 44,100, will be absolutely fine. Quality normal. The thing is that YouTube does tend to compress audio quite a bit, and you're not going to get the absolute best quality audio, and by doing this brings the file size down a little bit, and then click OK. And once you're ready, by clicking save, you'll save the movie in this case in documents, and it'll be called New Project 4 or whatever I like, and then you can upload that to YouTube. And if you want to check the information bar underneath and the little link I'm putting on the page, you can see what this video looks like after it's been encoded manually using the settings I've just shown you and manually uploaded to YouTube. Okay, this is Alan Starkey, your iMovie tutor. Speak to you soon.